What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Nick 4K video. So today is an interesting video because today I learned something new, and you're going to learn something new too probably. So for those of you who know about the James Cameron's controversy with his 4K DNR and all that extra stuff, we did plenty of videos on that already. If you want to go check those out, I'll leave a link to the playlist up here or at the end of this video. But we already covered all that information in those videos, so I'm not going to talk about that here. But today I learned that there is actually a 1080p Blu-ray version of True Lies. I only ever thought there was the DVD and there's the 4K. But several years ago there was actually a 1080p version, so a Blu-ray version. Now that version was only made for theaters, but someone got a hold of it and they actually made a bootleg version of that Blu-ray. So today we're going to be checking out a video from TJDW, and he actually has a comparison video between James Cameron's officially released 4K version and the bootlegged 1080p Blu-ray. So let's figure it out, guys. Did James Cameron really change as much as everyone's been saying he has? Let's check it out. If you guys enjoy videos like this, you want to see more like this, make sure to like, subscribe, turn notifications for more. And with that said, let's begin. Okay, so this is just titles so far. So far the 4K is better, I guess. What we have here is the 1080p version and the 4K version. 1080p, obviously much more fuzzy. I don't know if this is necessarily a full 1080p scan of the original negative, or if this is the like 720p that was stretched up to 1080p. It could be either one. Apparently it is a true 1080p transfer though. That's what I'm told. I guess, you know, based off these pictures, I don't know if that's 100% true, but I will tell you this, between this and this, I think I actually prefer the 4K version of this shot. Yeah, for sure. I get it. This feels like someone is filming this movie, and it has that grain to it and that grit that people like. So I understand where if someone were to like this more, the 1080p version more, but this 4K shot cleans up that night image a lot better. It feels like I'm watching a movie and not like looking through a camera at night. And that's kind of what a lot of people like. I prefer this look though. But that's just me. And this is the first shot of the film. So who knows? This might be the only thing I prefer. Let's keep going. Alright, there's a shot of the Blu-ray and the 4K. I don't really know if I have to compare this one. The 4K is vastly superior. Vastly superior. Yeah, for sure. We'll give this one to the 4K again. Alright, here's a shot of Arnie walking into the mansion. See, I don't know if this is a true 1080p transfer, and it's this shot. I know that Arnie is a little more blurred in this shot, like he didn't walk into focus yet at this point. But even just looking at the walls here, this looks like 720. This doesn't even look like 1080p. But technically speaking, this is the best version behind the 4K. If you wanted to potentially get True Lies in more of its less edited form, it's this. This is the best version you can get. So I mean, I guess it is what it is. 4K. I mean, even the 4K image isn't... it is better. It is definitely better. You can see the lines here. You can see this guy back here. I mean, look at this shot with the cook. He kind of blends in more with the background here. And I know this is a small detail, but if you look, he kind of blends more. Where like in the 4K, you know, he's there. Like there's a guy there and there's a wall behind him. So that is something 4K is able to do that 1080p can't do as well. Okay, so here is the Blu-ray shot. And here's the 4K. I don't know. Okay, so here's the thing. The Blu-ray shot, this feels like it's at night, right? And that's kind of the point. This feels like it's at night. The 4K shot feels like, I don't know, it looks more like it could be at night. Maybe he's like at a swimming pool with the lights are off or something along those lines. Or one light's on and it's in like an indoor swimming pool. I don't know. I guess I could see the argument here. I do like the more extra quality, obviously, on his face in the 4K. There's just more detail there with the water and everything. But this is one of those ones where it could go either way. This one definitely feels like it's at night, but this one has more detail. I mean, that's just it. I don't know. Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, next shot. He's inside of the ball. And here are these two characters here. I don't know if I really even notice a difference here. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I guess you could say the 4K makes things look more muted, more like real, I guess. Or, I don't know. This one's actually kind of tough. Okay, I think I prefer the 4K. What I will say about the blue, which I appreciate, is that in the blue you can tell like everyone has a different type of skin tone going on, and it's more subtle. Like Arnie's more pink, right? But in the 4K shot, go a little further here. In the 4K shot, you know, Arnie's definitely more white, more yellowish in his look. Not technically that bad because everyone else also has kind of like a different shine. Even if you look at this woman in the HD shot, in the Blu-ray shot here, she looks like she could maybe not be Caucasian, right? And then in the 4K shot, she definitely is. So it's one of those things where I don't know. I don't know. That's up to the interpretation if you care about that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Okay, let's keep going here. All right, another night shot with a laser, Blu-ray versus 4K. Okay, this one's actually a pretty good one. What I'll say is the 4K has definitely got the quality the Blu-ray does not have. That's for sure. Look at the pores. You can see the pores on his face. In this shot, you cannot see the pores. Yeah, it's just all blurry and grainy. This one's a 4K win for sure. What I will give this one is I like the dark feel of it. It definitely feels like it's more at night. Doesn't have that kind of light filter, and that might be the HDR effect on the 4K transfer itself. But everything else, though, the 4K transfer of that version is better. Okay, next one. We're going to go and check out when he's in the van here. Blue, 4K. 4K is better. I'm going to give this one to the 4K. What I will say is this. Pretty much what it comes down to, and this, like I said, this might just be the HDR effect, and these are nighttime shots. When we get to the daytime shots, it might be different. But the HDR effect on these night shots, I actually think is better than the original Blu-ray or the bootleg Blu-ray. I should keep saying bootleg. This was made, though. They made this with the intention of showing it in theaters at one point. So, it is one of those things where this was made, and this is technically the truest version of the movie. If you want to get it, you can probably find it online somewhere. I'm not going to tell you to do that, but that is an option if you don't like the 4K transfers. There is a 1080p version somewhere out there, and it looks pretty good. Like this still looks good. Like I wouldn't be mad if I saw this, right? But I will say this. I prefer the 4K look though, and at least in these shots, like I said, that's just better. That's a better shot altogether. I mean, even like these are different colors than him, and here's the thing, it's a nighttime shot, so colors are going to be messed up anyways. But if you can look like this original shot, he's like all the same color. It's just one gray color. I mean, sure, his skin is a different color of gray, but at the end of the day, this is just a gray shot altogether. Where the 4K, it's popping. You know, I can tell that this is definitely more of a blue or gray, sure, blue or gray, but his skin isn't gray too. So 4K wins this one as well. I think we're still in the nighttime shots for now. Yep, we're still in the mansion. All right, so we're looking at the Blu-ray with this chick, and she's pretty good looking. Let's be honest here. All right. Wow. Okay, that's a big difference. Oh, I don't know. Okay. This is one of those things where it's going to come to interpretation. I think I like the 4K more. It kind of makes her pop. Her eyes pop more. If you look at the Blu-ray transfer, the most important part about her is like her eyes and how she's supposed to be like longing for Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, right? And if you look, she's still stunning. She still looks good. Her eyes still look really pretty. But it's one of those things like the 4K really makes her eyes pop. Yeah, and you can see her jewels better. The 4K is the better version for this shot. But I would understand if you like the other shot more. Okay, so this is an action shot. I don't know. See that it's hard to base this shot off of one thing because it's really not even in focus. Like these characters aren't even in focus in the first place. It's hard to compare this screenshot. I don't know. I guess I kind of like the standard Blu-ray shot more. I think the other one's a little too extra going on. The standard Blu-ray is definitely more subtle, but this is one of those motion shots. You can't really compare that because that flies by like that. So we'll keep on going. Okay, I think we should be getting into daytime shots pretty soon here. All right, guy on the toilet. All right, so I don't know. If you look at his beard, you see like the beard. Sure, you can't really make out all the, each hair. You got his wrinkles, liver spots, and his tie. Let's check it out in 4K. I don't know, man. I think this is one of those shots. Like, look at his beard. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that. If you look at look at the wrinkles right here in his ear. Now this is just a still frame, so in actual, motion, you won't notice this. But in a still frame like this, I don't know, I feel like the hair's a little too clean, a little too crispy. I think this is what people mean when they were saying like how he was altering stuff. If you see there's grain on the tiles in the back, watch this, they're just gone. Gone. No more grain. So I completely understand the arguments for this. Let's check out to see if these words get messed up by the DNR. No, they got cleaner. They look better. Okay. Yeah, his tie looks better. I mean, technically, if I'm watching this in motion, it looks good. That looks like a good shot. But in this screenshot, something about the beard hair here, it doesn't work. The front's okay, but this side hair, there's something here that's not working. That like in the original shot, it looks fine. And like I said, the grain just disappears. I don't mind the grain in the back. I think it can either go or stay. It doesn't really matter to me personally with that, because that's not a big deal when it comes to grain. There are other scenes I got affected more with grain than this scene. This is just a guy on a toilet. But there's an example of the DNR. They took it out almost completely. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Oh, and which one would I choose between these two? I guess I would choose... I think I actually like the standard Blu-ray shot of this more than the 4K. I think the 4K looks pretty good from a certain point of view, but if you compare the two of them, the standard has more grit to it. It's got something extra going on. 4K is a little too clean and shiny. This is what people are talking about when they talk about how James Cameron, he overdoes the DNR effect. This is a perfect example of this, because this is one of those scenes which is super quick, blink and you miss it type of thing. But if you look at this, for some people, that's a big deal. These are two different films. So I completely understand the arguments. Which one's better? That's up to interpretation. But the fact that these are two different films, that's something to really, point out. All right, next one. Okay, Blu-ray shot when he's visiting the museum. 4K shot. I don't know. I don't really think there's much of a difference. I guess the 4K is better with it. Adds more atmosphere. If you look at the Blu-ray shot here, it definitely looks like they're kind of bled into one. Yeah, it kind of looks like he's part of the background, and from a certain perspective, if you look at his character, there's not really depth there. Like, this is further back. This is even further back. This is right in front of him, and then this is him. Doesn't feel like there's depth. It just kind of feels like he's part of the wall. Where if you look at her, this is further back, this is getting closer. You can see that depth, and that's one thing that 4K can just do that 1080p just can't do. It looks like she's actually standing in front of something where he looks like he's part of it. And of course, the 4K shot, there is some blur there that's it's kind of making it a little harder, but if you look, it is just better, better shot. Yeah, even this, like he's the white balance needed to be worked on here. He's a little too bright. That's just camera talk for me, by the way. That's not necessarily. If you don't work with cameras on a normal basis like me, you won't even recognize that. But it's washed out effectively. It's a washed out shot. Even this right here is a little too bright. They should have probably kind of controlled the light in that area a little more, but it still looks good. Yeah, and the 4K just it's the same thing. Can't really fix that. All right, next shot. His daughter's in the bedroom. Okay, so this is an interesting shot because this changes a lot of colors. Having the 4K compared to the Blu-ray. Let's check it out quick. So, this changed her room completely. One thing I will say is that when it comes to the 4K version, is you can kind of make out more details on the wall, which makes sense. It's the 4K version. It should be doing that, right? But it just changes the color of this blue altogether. In this shot, it looks like it's more of like a... It's definitely more on the blue side, but more like kind of purplish blue, whatever that would be. Is that violet? I don't know colors, but I do know that that is a different color than the other blue we see. Compared to this, this more official blue, more boy blue, it does kind of change the shot a little bit. I don't know. I mean... And it changed the color of her jacket too. And I get it. She's kind of like tomboyish in the movie. I kind of like the purple look because while she does look tomboyish, the purple does kind of add the fact that like, hey, she's still a girl. You know, she's still figuring out her place in this world, and you know, I don't know. I mean, sure. What I do like is I like the 4K's crispiness. I think the shot looks better, but I like the Blu-ray's color more. What do you guys think? What do you prefer? Do you think the blue looks better, or do you think the more violet, purple, blue, and the Blu-ray looks better? Let me know in the comments below. All right, let's even look at the dog for a second in 4K. Yeah, that dog looks a lot better in 4K too. So if you're a dog fan, you're gonna like the blue. You're gonna like the 4K for sure. But even this, look at the detail of like her boot here. If you can see, it's like kind of all like mushy there. You can kind of make out the ridges, but overall it's mushy. And then when it jumps to the 4K, bam. Oh, hang on. And then jumps to the 4K, bam. You can see the ridges. You can make out every detail. Yeah, 4K's got the better detail, but in this shot, the Blu-ray, that wins the color. For me, anyways. All right, next shot. Another nighttime shot. I don't know. I think I prefer the standard blue for this shot. Yeah, I think the nighttime shot, this one specifically, there were a couple ones earlier, but this one specifically is too bright. I think the standard blue looks a lot better for this shot. Let's do another one quick with the motion. Yeah, the standard blue is better for that one, even if looking at the bushes. Okay, this is another one of those situations where I like the extra detail I'm getting from the 4K, the extra brightness, the highlights in her hair you can kind of catch better. Like the Blu-ray, you see them, but the 4K makes them kind of pop more. This is another motion scene, so this really shouldn't be compared into comparison. But I prefer the Blu-ray's colors, but I do prefer that the 4K has a little more detail in its shine. Things are kind of more poppy. So maybe they found a middle ground between those two things. That'd be great. Next shot. This is when he's another nighttime shot. Oh, okay. So this is interesting. Obviously, I prefer the crispier look of the 4K. That makes everything look much more crispier. You can look at the words better. You can read all that stuff much better than you could in the blue. Obviously. I do like that the blue is more subdued in its color. I think that's one of the biggest issues with True Lies 4K is that the color is very like in your face. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I prefer the standard blue in this shot more, but I will say that the 4K shot isn't that overdone either. I think it's a little more flashy, right? But I still think it looks pretty good. Like I wouldn't complain about this shot. There's other shots to complain about. This is one I wouldn't complain about. I think it looks fine. All right, next one. There's his buddy in the car. I don't know. I think this is another one of those ones where the nighttime shot. Yeah, I prefer the 4K version, and this is just one of those things. As like a as someone who works with cameras a lot, I prefer when my colors are distinctly different in different shots. And this shot is very just plain. It's a very plain shot. And then if you watch the 4K shot, boom. Now there's more colors here. He's got a blue shirt on. He's got a black jacket. He's got you know, his skin colors popping. He's got brown hair. In this first shot though, you can't really make any of that out. You know, it just kind of it's all one plain color. So there's another example of the 4K being better. I will say though, there is a little bit of the waxing effect going on in his face, but I don't think it's that bad. There's worse examples, so I think that's fine. All right, Blu-ray, 4K. This is one of those atmosphere ones again. A lot of these nighttime shots are just back and forth, honestly. Because here's the thing, I like the atmosphere of the blue. The blue's atmosphere just feels much more nighttime, and then this kind of changes the atmosphere of the film. It's like it's more of a blue tint to the 4K transfer. I think we all know that, but I don't know. I think I prefer the standard blue to that. Yeah. Yep. The standard blue has better colors in this shot, for sure. Yeah. I'm gonna go with the standard blue. Next shot. I don't know if I could really say. Okay, so this is what strikes me. If you look at this one's gonna be a little hard to look at. It's the hair. It's his hair for me. The 4K definitely lets his hair be more crispy. You can see it better, which is nice. There's none of that weird like herring that was done to that guy's beard earlier, which I appreciate. Looks much more genuine. The only thing is I'm looking at right around the face here. It's a little too smooth. Like, remember how I talked about how it's important that when you put a character in the focal points and you put them in, like, let's say the focus of the camera, right? This guy is on the focus of the camera. He's crispy for the most part, his face is. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's not. But there's more of a, there's distance between them. You can tell that these are two different objects. There's another object behind them, you know. There's distance there. There's a view distance. You can see that. But if we look at the 4K, I feel like this is one of those examples where the view distance got crushed a little bit. And usually that's a Blu-ray problem. 4Ks don't usually do this. And this could be the way that the camera was shot too, by the way. But if you look at it, it's just a little too... It's a little too squished. And like I said, this could just be my brain working with cameras for years. Someone could watch this and not understand what I'm talking about at all. But I notice it. Another thing too is if you look at the 4K, you can actually see his wrinkle on his neck. Where on the blue, it just kind of looks like he got a little scratch or something there. So there's an example of why the 4K is better. But I don't know. I think they're both good. The 4K definitely has some type of waxing going on though, especially with the leather jacket. Just a little bit. If you look at the Blu-ray leather jacket here, it is much more crispier. Well, I should say the 4K is technically more crispier, right? But look at the jacket here. Watch the change. You see that? It's subtle, but there's almost like more of a waxy look now. Is it technically more crispy of a shot? Yes, because the 4K resolution. But that jacket is a little rubbery. It almost looks not like a jacket anymore. It kind of looks like like melted chocolate. Like this is the jacket, right? And now it looks like melted chocolate, if you know what I mean. Oh, by the way, before we go any further, I still have like 5 more minutes of this video, so this is going to take a while. But thank you for sticking around if you stuck around for this long already. These shots are in 4K resolution, by the way. I'm watching it on YouTube, so of course it's not the highest bitrate you're going to get, but these are screenshots on a 4K video. So as far as comparison sakes go, this is still a pretty good comparison, but of course it's not 100% apples to apples. I don't know. That's just weird. So this is one of those shots where he's not in focus in the first place. He should be more in focus. I don't know what they focused on, because look, even his badge, you can't read his badge. And there is a slight motion to him, so that could be throwing off the whole shot. This is what I'll say. I think I prefer the frontal lighting in the 4K version, but I prefer the Blu-ray's background. Yeah. Even the color difference is a big thing. Like, look at this guy's shirt for a second. He has light blue, he has dark blue, he has stripes with different colors of blue. Of course, the black eye patch, but that's not going to change. Look at the colors there. And now watch me look at the Blu-ray quick. Now it's all just gray. He has a whitish, bluish shirt on. He has a gray vest, and then he has a dark gray and light gray tie. So that is something to consider. The background looks cool. I think I prefer the more darker aesthetic of the look, and even the light of the scene looks pretty good. Lighting the scene, his skin is more pink than it's supposed to be, and I think that the 4K is able to kind of bring that out, but in the same way, it kind of overdid it. Like, that's not his skin color either. So I don't know what is going on here. What I can say is I prefer the colors, I guess, and the lighting is better, but there is a sense of like more waxing going on with his face there. So that's I don't know. That's a shot that's up to interpretation, which one you like more. I think that actually a lot of these shots were really like one shot had something better than the other shot. So I don't know. That's up to you guys. Whatever you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Overall, so far, let me know what do you think is better. And then at the end of the video, I'll ask you again, what do you think is better? And then tell me if your thoughts changed or if it didn't. Okay, I was looking at the Blu-ray. 4K. That's another night scene where I was talking about when we look at colors. In this shot, he's pretty much all the same. The difference is, if you look, he does have a white shirt on. So there is kind of like a dark gray, a white, a black, white, gray, black, and his skin, of course, is more on the gray side. And if you look at the 4K version, boom. Gray vest, white shirt, blacker tie, and then his skin is more natural, but also not natural. I don't know how to really describe that. And then if you look at the window drops right here on the side of the window, bam, you can see them. They're actually shining. I think overall the 4K shot's better here. And a lot of that comes with the extra aesthetics of like the raindrops on the side here. Just look how dark this like side of the shot is. Our main central person on the shot is this guy. But there is no other details going on in the rest of the shot. And as soon as you go to 4K, bam, you can now see that extra light reflecting off of these raindrops. The 4K is better shot. In this scene, at least, I think. There's a little bit of waxing, but I think it's good enough that you can... There's enough other good stuff going on that we can give the 4K this shot. Yeah. Next shot. They're looking at a TV. 4K is vastly superior. That one's... I probably don't have to review this one. I think the 4K is vastly superior. This is very muted, very plain, very just an okay shot. Very standard. And then the 4K comes in. There's not much DNR going on here. Maybe a little bit of waxing on Arnie's face, but I think he's in enough focus that it didn't have to do any true DNR to him for the most part. And there's some extra details there on his buckle that you wouldn't see in the standard blue shot. Like, it's there, but it's not nearly as crispy, obviously, because it's 4K. I think, for the most part, there's a little more haze going on with these papers back here, and then here it's cleaned up. And of course, with this shot, even if you look at the computer, you can make out the differences, right? But when you actually go to the 4K, you can really see what's going on there. You know, you can read everything effectively. So that's just the 4K got the dub for that shot for sure. All right, now we come to the horse scene. I always like this scene. I don't know. That one might be one of those ones where it's a toss up. Yeah, so there's definitely like zero noise in this shot now. Now this is another motion scene, so you know it is what it is. But if you look, you can see the noise in the shot, and then if you look at the 4K shot, it's completely cleaned up. So I guess it comes down to what you prefer, as well as the extra color that comes from it, that blue tint that seems to be over most of these shots. I think I prefer the standard color of this, but of course I think since it is a motion shot, I think that extra clarity that you get from this from the 4K transfer is actually better. So once again, one of those ones where one is better for one reason and the other one is better for the other reason. So it is what it is. Next shot. Okay, this one should be interesting. This should be an interesting shot. Oh wow. Okay, let's take a look at this one. So my initial impression is that I prefer the 4K shot. Everything is much more crispier. Reflections are shinier. Things are brighter. More extra quality in the different textures and the distance. You can make out the distance. The Blu-ray shot seems a little cluttered. That's the way to kind of describe it. Like I mentioned, I keep mentioning about this movie specifically, but it kind of looks like everything is kind of blurred together. There's one glass wall here. We have glass wall here, and then we have a background. This background all seems to kind of blend together. There's no real personality in the background. Characters look okay. Looks like there might be a little out of focus with these guys, unfortunately. Some motion blur here on the hand. Ultimately, it's just very cluttered. It's kind of a very ugly shot. So in order to make it prettier, you have to add extra pizzazz here and there. If you look at the 4K shot, yeah, it's just a prettier shot. This is no longer just like a amalgamation of a bunch of computers and desks and people. There are levels to the background now. The glass cubicle looks better. You can see these people better over here. You can tell that they're on the other side of that glass wall. People here look just better, more crispy. Overall, I'd say the 4K shot is better, and the colors are way better. This shot is definitely an improvement. It went from a boring shot to a much more interesting and just better shot altogether. So there's another win for the 4K. All right, next we got the Blu-ray here of the bathroom scene, 4K. Okay, so this one's actually a pretty big difference if you look at these two here. Okay, so I think this is an example. This is probably the best example so far of what people mean when they say that James Cameron messes with his movies. It's this. This has a certain atmosphere because of the haze, because of the mist coming off of the one thing that they broke, as well as the film grain. It feels stingy. It feels dirty. Most of all, I think it feels raw. I think that's what people are missing from James Cameron's transfers. They like that rawness. And the 4Ks of his do kind of get rid of that when you get rid of the extra detail and texture to the world. Like for instance, look, so here's the Blu-ray. Here's the 4K. Completely different atmosphere altogether. This is a clean bathroom again. There is a lack of emotion in this shot compared to this one. Now, what I will say, does the 4K look good? That looks good. That looks like that was just filmed today. Well, maybe not today. Maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. It looks pretty good. But that is also just a different shot. The shot is not the same at all. It's so strange. This is one of those ones that like, I 100%, when people like complain about the James Cameron transfers, this is 100% the example you want to point to is this. Yeah. So long as that, look at this. This is just completely different. And at that point, you're not just updating your old film, you're changing it. So I can completely understand why people are mad about this. Like I said, and the thing is, the 4K shot actually does look good, but it's different. I think there it is. That is the argument. It's not that the 4Ks look bad, they just are different, and therefore we should fear them. No, but in all honesty, yeah, it's just different. Yeah. I do like the extra clarity. You can see the bullet holes a lot more. In the Blu-rays, they're just kind of like, you know, spots. And the 4Ks, they actually look like bullet holes, which is pretty cool. The 4K is a really nice shot still, but it's not the original shot. It's definitely been altered in a way. I don't know. Let me know which ones you guys prefer between those two shots, the newer one or the older one. Another night scene. Everything's the same color. 4K comes in, boom. All the colors are better. The night scene's better if you look. The raindrops are better too. Let's do a quick little scoop on that one. I don't want to keep covering night scenes because I know this movie has a lot of them, but just look at these two shots. Standard, you can make out the raindrops, but it's not exactly popping. The light's not shining off of them very much. Everyone's kind of the same color. There's no extra information to the shot. Boom, you now have information. You have the darkness of the suits and all the stuff, and then the lights. So it looks good. A random shot of the horse. It's kind of a blurry shot of the horse. I guess that's what he's comparing here. I guess I like the 4K's color more. I don't know. That's a weird comparison. All right, another daytime shot. Interesting. This is one of those color ones that people don't like. I don't know. From a certain perspective, I like the standards, or I should say the Blu-ray's warmth. It feels more warm. And then the 4K version kind of makes it feel more cool. Now, an example is like this. What it looks like, in this version, it looks like their windows are down and it's hot outside. Right? And that's because the heat of the shot. And then in this shot, it looks like the windows are up and they're in the AC. Do you see what I'm talking about? So, both shots are good for their own perspective, but they also do change the feeling of the scene. It's interesting because like this shot, it feels more... you feel more warm. They look warm. You know, they feel like it's a hotter day. And then in this shot, you feel more cool. You kind of feel like chilling in the car a little more. So it's one of those things that whether the filter change is better or not is up to interpretation. But it is a good argument that does kind of change the scene. It's not a super important scene, but it is something to point out that does change the scene. At the bar with the scam artist. I don't know. I prefer the extra detail. Maybe a little bit of waxing on the face, but not too bad. I prefer the extra detail of the 4K and the lighting. Yeah. Plus, you can make out the crabs and the lobsters a lot better than this shot. Like, you can tell there's a tank behind him. Where in this shot, it just kind of feels like a wall. At first. Yeah, it kind of feels like a wall in this shot because the colors don't really pop as much. And that could just be the extra HDR helping that scene. But yeah, in this shot, you got the extra shine going off here. And the blue is very defined compared to the standard Blu-ray. So I'm going to give this one to the 4K. There's this much more going on, even if there was a little more of a softer tint. I don't know. If you look, you can kind of see this extra waxing going on with the texture over here on its nose. If you switch to the blue. But then again, the blue really isn't even that impressive of a transfer for the most plays. So you really can't even tell. It's subtle though. It's subtle. There's like they kind of cut down his bridge a little bit with the 4K. But I think it's one of those things like this is another motion shot. You won't even notice that. The 4K is better. Yep. And the shot of the scam artist. I think I prefer the 4K. Yeah, there's more life to him. There's more life. You can see the wrinkles better in the 4K. The blues are still there, but there's just more life to the 4K, and that just might be the resolution itself. I do like that the Blu-ray's shadow is more present. It seems like he's being presented in the shadow more, and therefore, we're supposed to think he's more sketchy. That adds to the theme of the scene. But overall, if we're talking about the extra quality, the 4K is better. I love this scene. Okay, so I don't know. I think the 4K is better. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. Yeah, 4K is more crispy. Everything's more shiny. Uh, there's really not much noise in here to remove, but the noise they did remove, yeah, just cleaned it up. It's a better shot. We're gonna give it a better shot. Okay, blue versus 4K. The blue is, oh, you know what? This one might be interesting. I guess I kind of prefer her face more pink. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this shot. There is a little bit of facial smoothing here. If you look, it looks kind of unnatural. And there's a little more like sharpening on her eye muscles than there were in the standard version, if you see that. But I also don't think it's that bad. I think this is one of those ones, again, where the Blu-ray has the better color, but I think I prefer... Then again, you know what? I don't know. This one's tough. I think I'm going to give this one to the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray has the better shot for this one. Okay, further out shot. Yeah, it's pretty much the same shot, just wider. The 4K, of course, is more crispy. Obviously, it's going to be that way. You can look at the magazine here. Yeah, everything looks better, but I think I still prefer the Blu-ray shot in that scene. Oh, I don't know about this. So if you look, this color is definitely, it's a discolored shot. I think that's mostly because she's looking in the mirror. But if you look at her neck here, that's the same kind of discoloration. It might just be the lighting used for the scene. Okay, after re-looking at it, this kind of makes that lighting better too. If you look at her shoulder here, the lighting looks better now. It had like kind of like a purple, bluish halo around the white, and that's not supposed to look that way. That was probably whoever was doing lighting that day, they messed up. But the 4K transfer was able to fix that with this shot for sure. So we're gonna go 4K. 4K is better. All right, another night shot with the boys. Let's look at that one again. I don't know about this one. I prefer the darkness of this shot. Now, with this said, they aren't wearing colors, so that's usually where like the color part of these nighttime shots, the 4K wins on. But because they are both wearing black shirts, and a lot of this is black except for the screens, I do think that maybe... If you look, there's a lot more graininess in this TV, and then when the 4K comes along, the grain just kind of disappears. In fact, a lot of these colors kind of change from the 4K, which is interesting. Look at this. Look at this monitor quick. See, there's more green to it, more green and teal. When the filter goes over it, it turns into blue. So I don't know. That's interesting to me. I don't know. I think the standard might be better for this. Their faces aren't that bad though. I thought they'd be a little more smooth, a little more waxy, but they actually look pretty good. I'll probably give it the standard though. I prefer the colors of the standard in that shot. Another shot of the office. I don't know. Something about the lighting in that scene. I think the Blu-ray just looks better. Blue in 4K. Another shot. This is another example of, well, kind of. If you see the lights in the back here, look at the Blu-ray compared to the 4K. They're kind of just there. They're very boring. They're there, sure, but it's very boring. The 4K is able to really reach back there and grab that lighting and pop it. Even the top lights. The 4K pops better. The 4K is the better shot. This is another motion blur shot, so it's not that big of a deal, but it looks better in the 4K. I don't know. This is just a mouth, but let's do it anyways. ultimately comes down to which one has the more detail, and I can tell you which one has the more detail, the 4K. So 4K wins. That one's pretty obvious. Let's check out this one. This one might be a little more complicated. This one could maybe go either way. I like that the lights are more punchy in the 4K. Even if you look at these characters' heads with the light kind of shining on their side, or even like up here. If you look at the Blu-ray compared to the 4K, 4K just pops more. That's it. And you can actually make out their faces better with these 4K as well. Where with her, of course, it is higher quality. But I don't know, I think I prefer her skin tone more in the standard Blu-ray. Yeah, I prefer this skin tone. I think that maybe she's a little too yellow in this skin tone. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I know there's going to be at least one person watching this who's going to go through every single one of these shots and tell me, like, number 1, first shot, 4K. Number 2, second shot, 4K. You know, they're just going to keep on going down. Someone's going to do it. All right, shot in the night. So this one's going to be an interesting shot. Right away, I'm going to tell you the 4K looks better. The 4K is a better shot. I prefer the 4K shot. Yes. The Blu-ray isn't bad, though, but the blue is one of those things, like, I will say maybe blue might have more realistic colors in this shot, maybe? Maybe not, though. What I mean is everything is, like, very flat in this specific screenshot, and this has been kind of an issue with this Blu-ray so far with nighttime scene shots. Everything's the same color, effectively. We're focusing on his eyes. The extra atmosphere is there too, obviously, but it's his eyes that we're really focusing on. And it just doesn't really pull you in. Where in the 4K, it pulls you in. And I will say this, out of all the 4K shots so far, this is one where the colors really didn't change much. But you can make it out more, and everything kind of pulls to his eyes better. And that might just be because the extra lighting, or if you look at his eyes, the 4K is able to actually pick up the lighting around his eyes more than the standard blue, which kind of seemed to... It's there, but it's not nearly as noticeable, where, like I said, in the 4K, bam, it's right in your face. Yep. Yeah, 4K is better. Next shot. This is a good scene. I like this scene. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. So at first glance, I thought the 4K was better, but if you look at her legs here, those legs are very shiny. What I'll say is I think that the legs look good. Don't get me wrong. Those are good legs. I think they're actually better shiny, but I'm saying, like, I think the blue might actually capture more of what legs look like. But if you see, there's that extra, like, textures of like grain going on there. There's the shadow, there's the light of the outside, and there's the light of the inside. It's all kind of compressing and making that more grain going on there. So if you turn on the 4K, the grain's like gone. So things are extra smooth, and those legs are looking good. Don't get me wrong. I ain't complaining. I'm just saying that's the one thing I think when it comes to True Lies, you can't complain about. Like, she looked good in 4K still. So, hey, you know, I'm gonna give it to the 4K. I think the 4K is better, and not just because the legs look incredible. All right, next one. Hand. I don't know. This might be just a blue tint situation with the 4K has sometimes. I'm going to say... I don't know. This one's up to interpretation. I actually don't know which one's better. I think the 4K's light, like the brightness of the 4K is better, but, you know. Okay, so this is interesting. Does she look good in 4K? Yeah, she does. But that's not what we're checking out. We're checking out her skin in the sense of where does the DNR mess with it too much and make it waxy. Look at the lighting on her skin. Look at these different like reflections. The lighting makes sense. This looks good with the lighting. Okay, now let's look at the 4K. Let's see how much difference. Well, I'll tell you right now, this pops a lot better. I like this shot. Now let's look at her. Okay, so she's definitely much more smoother. Especially like this area. There's something that's not natural about this area. Her face looks pretty good, I think. For the most part, maybe a little bit of waxing right here, right? But like her face looks pretty good. Her arms are a little waxy, but I think they look fine. And of course, you know, her chest is looking pretty good. Let's be honest here. But we're not talking about that part. We're talking about her upper torso right around here. Something's off here. Look at the Blu-ray quick and see if maybe it's just she just built different. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There's something here. That looks natural there, and then if you go to this, it doesn't. It looks smooth. It's a little too smooth. This is one of those examples of where the DNR over smoothed. Yeah. Yep. The Blu-ray is better by far in this shot. I think this is an example of where, so far, I don't think there's been like a Blu-ray shot that is just like way better. This is the one where I'll give it the way better. The only thing that the 4K has the Blu-ray here, in my personal opinion, is the extra lighting, but that could just be the HDR added effect. Yeah, Blu-ray's better. 4K is not terrible though, but the Blu-ray's better. All right, this is gonna be a good shot. Yeah, I don't know. There's more texture to her face. Kind of make out the makeup on her face a little better. You can actually make out the little hairs on her face. Let's see if it's there in the 4K. Yeah, the 4K pretty much removes that completely. There's no hairs on her face anymore. Yeah, I don't know, but I'll tell you the truth. I think this shot. This is a still frame, right? Actually, look, there's an issue in the grain right there in the film. It's interesting. I don't know. This one's open to interpretation too. Is that a big deal? Is the smoothing of her skin that big of a deal? I don't think so. I can understand why people would be mad about that, but this isn't nearly as serious as like I said, the bathroom scene where it completely changed the scene altogether. So we're gonna go with that. I think that's okay. So next shot, we come to the airplane. I don't think there's much of a difference. The only thing that's really different is the light. And even then, like, it's really not that noticeable. Like the lights here, they kind of pop more on the 4K. And I actually think I prefer the pop to that. It's another motion scene, so you really can't compare. 4K's, I'm going to go with the 4K there, I think. I don't know. The blue on this is a little too strong. Yeah, this is better. This is better quality. I'm not the biggest fan of their lip color in this. I think their lip color is off. But this is an example of where the 4K did what the Blu-rays were doing earlier. And in this shot, this is a different color, 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 different color. Everything on this shot's a different color. When you look at the 4K, they overdid it with the filter on this one. This shot specifically, for sure. Everything is blue. So that was definitely an oversight. And definitely an example of why people won't like it. It's not too bad as far as DNR goes, but the colors, and besides his cheek looks weird. I don't know if that's just the shadow. It looks the same on the Blu-ray. On the Blu-ray, it looks a little more natural. I think it's just the lighting of the scene. Yeah. But yeah, the 4K digital correcting, it's a little too straight edge for like a natural shadow. Overall, though, yeah, the 4K shot completely gets destroyed by the Blu-ray in that shot. You know, I will say one thing. I'm surprised how many of these Blu-ray shots are actually better than the 4K shot. Most of the shots, the 4K is better. Like this is the shot, the 4K is better. There's just more going on. Like I said, something about the Blu-ray compression here, all of this gets lost in the shot. All of this extra information here, it's all gone. And in the 4K, that extra texturing, extra resolution, even like the pattern on this guy's hat thingy, it looks better. It's a win. It's a win altogether. Let me go back quick. See if I can get another shot of that one quick. Yeah, so look at the texture in here. Just extra information going on. Overall, yeah. And of course, there is extra stuff in the back. The 4K is better for sure. Not much I can really say about that shot. I guess the leather is what we have to look at. I don't know. I mean, even this shot's leather doesn't look that good. I don't think there's much you can really say about that shot. We do one more scan on it quick. All right, let's look at the guys in the back. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a color thing in this. I don't think that's a big deal. I don't. It is what it is. That's not a big one. Okay, another shot. I think I like the standard blue. This is another example of it's the color's too blue. They changed the color too much. This is natural. Like the Blu-ray is natural and the 4K is a little too filtered. With that said, the 4K is not that bad though. Like the 4K is still pretty good, like this shot, but it's just the blues has better colors, so I'm gonna give it to the blue. All right, the torture scene. Not much has changed. Seems like there's more of a haze for the 4K. Usually that's the opposite. Dark, dingy, looks claustrophobic. And we got 4K, less dark, less dingy, less claustrophobic. Yeah, I think that the Blu-ray is better on that. I will say that the... Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go Blu-ray with that one. Okay, blue versus 4K. Well, these aren't the exact same shots because her eyes are open there, and then here her eyes are closed, but that's okay. They're close enough. I don't know. I think this is another one that's not that big of a difference. What I will say is, though, while they don't look that much difference, it's the atmosphere. It's this scene specifically. They overdid it with the blue tint, and so now these claustrophobic, dark, menacing night shots are dark shed. They're in like a shed or a garage or something. These dark basement, garage, shed, dungeon shots have turned into more of like less like that. It lost its tone. It lost that extra darkness to the scene. It's not terrible, but it definitely lost that atmosphere, and so I'm going to go with the Blu-ray on that shot. Okay, so there's not much going on in this scene, but we do get to see the difference in the skin colors. I prefer the natural muted look, and this might just be the HDR effect on the screenshot. The natural look is much better. Yeah. Plus, look, if you look at the natural shot, you can see little furs on her shoulders. You know, you can see the her vein here. You can make out more with like the little subtle details that the DNR process unfortunately kind of removes. But then again, from a certain perspective, while it does kind of, it doesn't necessarily remove all that stuff. It just changes it, right? So it's like, I like her skin being softer like this in this scene, because based off where she's at in this scene, her skin just looks nice when it's soft. But I do prefer the color of the Blu-ray. And the Blu-ray is more natural, but the 4K is more soft. I don't know. Which one do you guys prefer between those two? Let me know in the comments. All right, we're almost done, boys. We've got like 30 seconds left. Let's see if we can do this. All right, Arnie. Ooh, I don't know. I think the natural colors, right off the bat, the natural Blu-ray colors are much better than this 4K. Yeah, that tint kind of threw it off. Yep, we're moving on. I'm going to stay on that one. The Blu-ray is better. Explosion. 4K is better. And that one's one of those ones where you can't really even deny that. The 4K is better, and that's just because HDR, extra clarity, 100%. The 4K explosion is way better. All right, flamethrower scene. Well, the fire definitely looks brighter. I guess it's pretty much just comparing the fire in this shot. Like, if you look at the blue here, yeah, like, there's these two poles here. They have two wires hanging down. Fire. And then if you look at the 4K shot, I think this is another example where the 4K is just, they're so close, but the 4K is arguably better. You can see the letters here better. You can actually make out those two poles and the two wires. They're not all the same color. There's atmosphere, dimension. Yeah, so, and the fire looks brighter and better. Go figure. So the 4K is definitely better. So these shots are both shots that are close, but not the exact same time. It's hard to say because one, he's not in motion, one he is in motion, but the one he is in motion is very waxy looking. So if I have to choose between the two of them, the Blu-ray shot is better. I really thought he would do a shot of like the girl, like him piloting, and he grabs the girl out of the when he's flying, but I guess he didn't do that. So there you go, guys. That is a comparison. If you guys want to see more longer deep dive videos like this, let me know in the comments below. If you have any cool ideas for videos or movies you want to see me do that on, let me know. And if I use your suggestion, I'll give you a shout out in that video. But thanks again for watching, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, turn notifications for more videos. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Peace.